What's going on, guys? Welcome to this video. I hope you're going to enjoy the subject today. It's still remaining in the steroid PEDs department, topic, and today I'm going to talk about something that is gonna be a pretty short video, but I still want to give my opinion. But trust me, I've got a very long video coming on this subject, further subject. So today is just basically an introduction of what you can expect on this type of subjects. And today it's gonna be basically the fact that, I've had bigorexia, but I never jumped on PEDs. And it will also make the link that, in my opinion, people who take PEDs and people who are natural are very similar and not that much different. And that, in my opinion, a lot of it, people jumping on PEDs and naturals not jumping on PEDs is a lot due to environment and just path of life, which make you go the drug route or not. And so I really don't buy into the I used to look obviously at people as steroids when I was younger, at cheaters, blah blah blah, and kind of like bad people, I guess. Where today is totally different, obviously understanding that I could have been taking steroids if the environment pushed me to do so, if I wasn't born with parents who were really away from not just drug family or anything like that. Like, the environment was settled for me not to never take drugs, basically. And so that's why it's very hard to judge people who take stuff, because you don't really know what's behind the story and everything. And so, I'll never say, naturals are better than people who take steroids, for example, simply for these reasons. I do think that going the natural way is going to be better for everyone who wants to live long, to have a healthy life and, follow these values. But, some people imagining that they really take away all the environment influence that there is, etc., if they really do want to take steroids and are really aware of it and really, as I said, not influenced by the environment, and consciously knowing that they're not influenced by the environment and want to take it because they're fan of bodybuilding, who want to reach exceptional muscle building size, then fair enough, and that's also something that you gotta respect. But in the industry, what I see today is a lot of people who think they made a personal choice of taking stuff, but they really made like an conscious decision, basically, of taking them. But they're still way too influenced by the industry and by perhaps their personal issues, etc., which actually led them to take them. Although, if they had been fighting a bit longer the issue of taking these products, they wouldn't have taken them, basically. And so it's very important to dissociate basically the environment and the conditioning you've had before actually making a thoughtful choice about taking these drugs. In my opinion, most of the people who said they made a conscious thought about not taking steroids in the industry and that it's really their choice, it's still in the end not really their choice. I do think that there's too much environment and conditioning, or their life path, which made them take the drugs, which in the end will, even though it was like a thoughtful choice that they agreed to, later on they will still regret taking them, as opposed to someone who actually took the drugs and didn't make a choice that was at all influenced by any other factors in his life, and he really, like I said, decided to take the drugs because he's a fan of bodybuilding and want to have big muscles that he would never reach naturally. The two are really different, and this second person will probably not regret the choice that he made later on in his life, even if he's facing health complications, because it's really what he wanted. Whether the other people who said they made a conscious choice of doing this still didn't really want to make this choice, and a lot of them will regret taking the drugs in the end. And that's where it's a shame, because they did it, but still deep inside kind of lied to themselves about it, and so they shouldn't have taken them. So basically, that's where I want to come with this video, the fact that I had bigorexia. So I was basically not taking drugs, but I was as addicted almost as someone who took the drugs, in a sense that I would go to the gym 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. And don't get me wrong, I think that this is the standards of like a true advanced competing natural bodybuilder to go this much. So that's why at the same time, I wouldn't exactly consider that it was bigorexia, it was full passion as well. So both were going together, but still kind of have like an addictive personality. But I knew that going further and taking drugs would have just had no return for me. And I found it natural bodybuilding to actually be a very unique challenge, because no one was natural in the industry or trying to reach the so-called natural limits, which in my opinion obviously don't exist. And so, being natural and trying to push the limits without the drugs and to train as hard as possible was a very unique challenge, where you don't have this in unnatural bodybuilding, because you've already seen what you can look like unnaturally at a top level. You've seen many guys already who have gone through expectations of what you could think could be possible like 40 years ago. Like when you see these monsters today, like size-wise, like you just think, what the hell? I didn't think this would be possible, even taking drugs, etc. And so with natural bodybuilding, I had many reasons why I didn't jump, despite being quite addicted to the gym. It's just that being natural and pushing the limits was exciting because no one was doing it. That was the first thing. And second of all, I knew that still with like logical thinking, I wouldn't come back from taking drugs. In most cases, I would have irreversible damages made to my body. And so I didn't want to do this. It was too dangerous. But this, I guess, logical thinking was just brought out from my environment, which was quite wise, I guess, education-wise, etc. And so I could just tell that it wasn't something for me. But if I was born in an environment where drugs were like very normal to do, etc., I would have probably been someone taking stuff. Who knows? Like, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm natural and I'm better than someone else. I just think that it's a lot of it is due to environment. And so, influence, just like we see it in the industry right now. A lot of people take drugs because of the environment that they're in. And so you can't judge that. And I'll never say, that I'll never say basically that I didn't take drugs because I think natural is better and that I know better than others. I'll just say that I stayed natural because my environment taught me that. So I was lucky for that. And second of all, I found that being natural was exciting and actually more worth it than being unnatural, because no one was doing it and it was such a unique challenge. So these are the main reasons why, despite being on the road of someone who could have taken drugs in terms of addiction, because I'm quite like an obsessed type of personality, of like, training 3-4 hours a day and just like measuring myself like almost every day, taking pictures, like, that's what my lifestyle was basically, of always wanting to be as big as possible naturally. So there was bigorexia behind, and I think that a lot of people who end up taking steroids do have this bigorexia and this type of underlying issues, and it's just that they don't really see how this next step of taking drugs is that dangerous, and that bigorexia is something that is not really cool for most people, in a sense that it's, I guess, a mental issue, disorder that is underlying there. But taking the drugs is just another step, in a sense that you're going on the road of like further mental issues that are getting way worse because of the drugs, and physical issues, which you don't really have with a bigorexia, staying natural. And so I could make the difference between these two. But as I said, because of my environment and the way I could think this way. But a lot of people, you know, to them taking drugs is not so much when they're born in there, and so they'll just do it. And unfortunately go further with it, but it's another step that is, you know, a real big step with no turning back. And so that's why you gotta be very careful and actually make the difference between, you know, these two steps. Fair enough, if you have bigorexia and you're natural, I think that you have all the chances for yourself to get away from it, or just use it in a way that will be productive in your life. But if you start taking the drugs, you're just going on another side that is way too much. And so this video, in my opinion, is important to, you know, tell people who have bigorexia and thinking about taking drugs, etc., that it's not the same thing. Like, you're going in a really, really bad direction doing that, and that if you indeed have a bigorexia that makes you feel bad as a natural, then, you know, work on it, make it something beneficial in the end to your life, but don't push it further. Taking steroids when having bigorexia naturally is just, you're just going further in your mental health and your mental disorder. And so, you know, it's fine to have mental disorders and stuff like that, but don't push it as far as you're going down the rabbit hole. Like, you really want to stop before it gets too bad. And so, you know, I talk about people and how I'm not so different from people that are unnatural, and the only difference is the environment. Unfortunately, the environment today is the fitness industry. The bad environment that I'm talking about is not even how you were raised, or, you know, how you grew up, which would lead you to these decisions. But the real issue today is the environment of the fitness industry. You just go on YouTube and you're tempted to take products, like illegal products, like literally, because that's how the industry became now. So that's even more dangerous, because even people that are well, I guess, educated, you know, wise anti-drug environment today could go on the internet and not even see the trap that there is waiting for them, and they will actually take drugs because, as I said in another video, like Psalms, they don't even know that these are drugs. And so we're going on another level here, where the environment is actually everyone's environment. The toxic environment of the fitness industry is everyone's today. It's not just like me in the past, where, you know, when I was watching YouTube or going on the internet, steroids weren't widespread, even like 10 years ago. And so I wasn't influenced by the toxic environment that we have today. And I also had, obviously, a good upbringing environment as a young, as, you know, education from parents, etc. And so I never took the stuff. But today, even if you have the right education, anti-drugs education, for example, you could still take these drugs because of the environment that is the fitness industry, what it has become. So it's very important that you look, that you find this video, obviously, but that around you, you keep telling people that, and to be careful about this. Because today it's much harder not to be tempted by these drugs. The world is obviously more anxious than ever. And, you know, drugs are more accessible, and the temptation to take these because of the anxious world and more mental disorder of taking these drugs is much higher. And so you're going to be much more tempted to go this route, and you really want to be careful about it. And so, you know, I'm sorry for those who had the right education, anti-drugs education, but still couldn't really make the difference between the right and the wrong decision here, because it's becoming tough in this industry. So it's just to say that I don't think you shouldn't look at people on steroids like bad people or good people. Some just had the environment that weren't in their favor, and, you know, making your choice. You know, sometimes you can make choices, but if you're not fully aware, you might make unconscious decisions. And so everyone who's taken steroids wasn't particularly, you know, their decision or something that they really wanted to do. And even if you have drug sellers today, etc., like, you know, they're just born in this and they're just doing it now. But like, you could be these people if you were born with the same parents as them, and if you're raised in the same environment. So can't be judging people in the industry as, you know, he takes steroids is a bag of, you know, crap, and I don't take steroids, I'm natural, like I'm better. Like, that's not how it works. I don't think that's how it works. And so basically, if you're natural, you know, try to have this type of conversation with people who take stuff, and try to obviously, for the vast majority of people, to tell them that obviously these drugs are not good for them, and to be really aware of the decision they make despite their environment, etc. So I will come back to this subject, as I said, much longer, because I find it very interesting. Having grown up in this industry and training a lot as a natural and observing basically the difference between me and these people, and is it, you know, that different, or is it just, you know, a few little things that could have made me jump on the stuff as well. I think this is, you know, more like that, as I said, if the environment was different. And so, you know, it's important to not judge and to have mutual respect, I believe, in this industry between people who taken drugs and people who haven't taken drugs, and that, you know, as naturals, we shouldn't have a war against people who are taking stuff, etc. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did so, you know, feel free to like, to share, and subscribe. I will see you very soon for another video, probably about training this time, because I've touched on quite a lot of subjects on steroids and PEDs. So I'm gonna go on the side of training as a natural very soon. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you very soon.